Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Grand Football TV. How was your Christmas? I hope you had a good one. Yes, and we're slowly counting down the days for 2025 as we usher in 2026, and I'm sure 2026 will be great for all of us. Yeah, so welcome to another episode, and we are into game week 19. Remember, guys, this is the halfway point now of the Premier League season. 19 games bring us to halfway through the Premier League season. Well done if you've been with us from the start up until now. Yeah, game week 18 was very interesting, and we're going to run through that quickly. Game week 18, Manchester United versus Newcastle. Manchester United beating Newcastle 1-0. Well done to Man United. And no one, like we always say, got the correct score. So Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City. Man City winning that one as well. 2-1 away from home, keeping their title hopes alive. So well done to them. No one again. Everyone got the outcome, but no one got 2-1 as the correct score. Arsenal versus Brighton. Shout out to yours truly. I got the correct score for 2-1. And shout out to a few others as well. Well done to Finn. And well done to Anu. Well done to Kiki. All four of us got the correct score of 2-1 to Arsenal in that game. Brentford versus Bournemouth. Brentford v Bournemouth. Brentford were on fire, beating Bournemouth 4-1 in that game. And you would imagine no one got that prediction right because no one expected that huge scoreline. Burnley versus Everton. Burnley-Everton. It was a bit boring. The game finished 0-0. Again, no one predicted 0-0 for that game. Liverpool versus Wolves. That was a beautiful game and a special one for Diogo Jota, where his sons were brought out, as part of the mascot. So it was a good gesture from both teams. But the game itself, Liverpool were struggling at the end. They were wondering how could this happen because they almost drew the game with Wolves, but they hung on. And well done to Kiki. Well done to Yema. Them two got the correct score for that one. West Ham versus Fulham. Jimenez getting the goal again for Fulham to make it 1-0 to Fulham at the end of that game. Well done to Fulham for, going to West Ham and getting a result. Yema got the correct score, and he was the only one that got the correct score for that one. So well done to Yema. Chelsea versus Aston Villa, our star game. And we have three people who got the correct score right. So well done to Kiki, well done to David, well done to Finn. Aston Villa beating Chelsea away from home and keeping their own title challenge alive. They're such a difficult team to play. We'll talk about them soon. Sunderland versus Leeds. Sunderland took the lead, but Leeds were able to come back and even played better when they came back. And Sunderland, we would say, were lucky to actually come out of that one still holding a draw. So well done to Leeds for holding on. Again, no one got that correct score. No one predicted 1-1. Everyone went for either a Leeds win or a Sunderland win. Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. The last game for game week 18. And it was a bit of I wouldn't say a very, very great game. And Crystal Palace lost again at home. They lost to Tottenham. Tottenham winning that one 1-0. And no one predicted that scoreline. And it's been a long time we brought you the leaders board. In fact, this season, I don't think we've brought you the leaders board. So here is the leaders board after 18 games. I'm just going to talk about the top 3 and the bottom 3. That's what we'll do every time we meet and see if anyone moves from their positions. At the moment, Temizak is leading the way with 428 points. So well done to Temizak. And Dion is in second after holding on to first for a while. He's now in second position with 408 points. And Kiki, who had a great week in game week 18 as well as game week 17, has found herself in the running. She has 396 points, so that brings her to third. And languishing at the bottom, well, those who are in the relegation zone. Nyema with 341 points. King T with 318 points, and Temitayo with 312. He's got some points on the board, so he's looking at King T now saying, I can catch you. Yeah, it's still 19 games to go, so we'll see how, 20 games if we talk about this one we're about to talk about now, and see how it goes. Okay, game week 19. What do you have for us? Let's look at the predictions for game week 19. Burnley versus Newcastle. Newcastle. It's going to be a very tricky game. Remember, these games that are being played in game week 19 are the reverse fixtures of what happened in game week 15. So these games, be interesting to see how these ones turn out. Will the teams who lost game week 15 come back to win this one? Or would it be one of them ones where they're winning away, winning at home as well? We'll see. Burnley, one of those teams. I think they drew with Newcastle last time. And this time, I imagine they will try and get the win. Or did they lose? They lost, actually. They lost to Newcastle. So it'll be revenge time to try and get a win. So I'm going to go for Burnley to win this one 2-1. Chelsea versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth. Chelsea, will they still be vexed from that game against Aston Villa where they lost at home? You never know. But Bournemouth also lost badly, away from home, and they're playing a second away game. So they will probably want to make sure they don't lose by much if they're even going to lose. I think they will, and I'm going to go for Chelsea to win this one. Chelsea beating Bournemouth 2-1. Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Nottingham Forest v Everton. Nottingham Forest, I think they played really well against Man City, but ended up with nothing. So I think they're going to go into this game with that confidence that we can beat any team, although we lost to Man City, but it gives us confidence going into this game. If we play slightly better, we'll get the result we want. So I'm going to go for Forest to beat Everton. Everton are missing quite a few players, so that might play a part in their loss, I feel. So I'm going to go with Forest to beat Everton 2-0. 2-0 to Forest. West Ham versus Brighton. West Ham, they're a bit shaky. They need to get some results on the board. So I would imagine they would need to win this one. Brighton lost to Arsenal, a close one, but they lost anyway. This time, I think they would lose again because they're playing away from home. Although saying that, West Ham haven't been great. But I'm going to stick with my guns and say West Ham to beat Brighton 2-0. And the big game for game week 19, which is being played later on today. Arsenal versus Aston Villa. This is a big game. Arsenal, remember, lost the other fixture where Aston Villa scored a last-minute winner. So this one, Arsenal know what they need to do. They need to win this one. They definitely need to. It's a 6-pointer. And exactly what it is. If they win, they go 6 points above Aston Villa. If they lose, they'll be level on points. and they don't really want to draw because there's someone else in the picture, Manchester City. So I see this one as a win for Arsenal. Arsenal beating Villa 2-0. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Manchester United versus Wolves. I'm going to go for Man U to beat Wolves 2-1. They beat them in the reverse fixture 4-1, and they played well for some parts against Newcastle. Wolves have been playing really well, and I agree with what I heard someone say, that they're the best worst team that they've had in the Premier League, because they're losing games, but they're fighting. You know, they're not just sitting there and getting whooped every game. They're close in every game. Remember, the Villa game was 1-0. The Arsenal game was 2-1. The last one against Liverpool 2-1. So they just lack one little thing that will make them get over the line. And I think this might not be the game. So Man United will beat them 2-1. Man United to beat them 2-1. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Crystal Palace, Fulham. I'm going to go for Crystal Palace to shake off this bad run they're on and get a win. But Fulham, on the other hand, they've been playing well, scraping 1-0s here and there. So this might be another game where they want to try and scrape a 1-0 and get done. Because it's a London derby as well, I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. They should get their acts back together and start winning games. Liverpool versus Leeds. Remember the last fixture? They drew. And this one, they would want to make amends. But Leeds, they're playing well at the moment. They're a team in form. And they have a striker in form in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So you can imagine this game is going to be tight. This game is going to be very tight. And I'm going to go for Liverpool to beat Leeds 3-2. Liverpool leads 3-2. Brentford versus Tottenham. Tottenham. Brentford won their last game comfortably. Tottenham went away to Crystal Palace and won. So both teams will be, buzzing for this one, thinking, yes, we can, carry on from where we stopped in the last game. But Brentford, they play really well at home. So I see them causing a lot of problems for Tottenham. I've gone for 2-0, but I'm thinking it might even be more. Because Tottenham, they're one of them teams where they have a good game and they will go back to being bad. So it might be one of them ones, but you never know. But I'm just going to go with 2-0 for Brentford to beat Tottenham 2-0. And the final game for game week 19, Sunderland versus Manchester City. Sunderland, they've not lost at home yet. They've been playing really well, although the last game against Leeds was a bit shaky. It's not their usual self. When the game was 1-1, Leeds started balling. But this one, I see Sunderland coming out strong because they know who they're facing. It's like how they played against Arsenal, where they tried to even win the game but ended up with a draw. I see that happening for this one as well. And I see Man City almost losing the game maybe and getting a draw from the game. That's what I see in this one. And I'm going to go for Sunderland 1, Manchester City 1. Yeah? What are your thoughts for game week 19? Let us know in the comment section. Guys, let us know. Yeah? We are always there to hear all your thoughts for the games. Yep. Well done, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful 2026, because by the time we'll come back for another recording, it will be time for us to be saying Happy New Year. 2026 is very close by. So guys, I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one. Bye for now.
Don't check this.